Hi guys, this is Pestily and welcome to another Escape from Tarkov video. Today I am giving my thoughts, in-depth thoughts on patch point 13. There's a lot to cover. It's going to be a little bit ranty, but without further ado, let's crack straight into it. Alright, so patch point 13 has been out for a few days now and I've spent a fair bit of time playing it. By a fair bit of time is, I probably played about 80 hours already, which is an unhealthy amount of playing a video game, let alone in a short period of time of like 5 or 6 days. But anyway, I've been playing it a lot and I've been taking notes of some of the things that have been good or bad. We're going to go into depth on all of them now. I'm going to start off with the good and then we're going to go ham on the bad. So starting off with the good thing. I actually really enjoyed how they released all the cool stuff and new stuff in the hideout. That pretty much being the gym. Now, obviously there's going to be spoilers throughout this. So if you're not into spoilers, then probably avoid this video completely. But the gym is now available in the hideout. And they didn't just release it by saying, hey, you can upgrade the gym straight away. They actually made it that all of a sudden there was this weird wall that was like whispering in the shadows. And you had to mop up the actual wall itself because it was leaking juice. And then eventually you could open it up and get to the gym. The gym itself is a pretty cool little feature added to the game. But pretty much is you upgrade the wall a few times, probably 3 times. And once you get through that, you can go to the gym. Whilst you're at the gym, you can work out. And as you're working out, you will go up in strength and endurance. There's a cooldown based out of that being on your getting severe muscle pain. It usually takes around a day for you to be able to, take another effort on the gym. However, if you take some food and drink, it might possibly get a bit of a workaround. Have to wait and see on that. But go ham, try out the gym, see how you go with that one. Other cool and little nifty features inside the hideout that I've really enjoyed. Now, my hideout is nearly completely upgraded. But if you wanted to search something, for example, you want to craft capacitors, you can craft it like that. If you want to always craft capacitors, you could leave it up the top and have it pinned. This is something that I've always wanted in the hideout. And I'm so excited that it's actually here. I might actually start using the hideout again. But particularly when I do something like a hardcore playthrough, I can pin stuff to the top that's actually going to be more useful to me. And not the ones that are just kind of there for the sake of being there. Hi guys, for a limited time only, the Pestily Waifu Cup is available. Go down link below. There is 10% off using code Pestily. And don't miss out, as it's only available for 1 week and then it'll be gone. Now, one of the other big features in this hideout that is absolutely amazing is the firing range. Now, I've got it all the way up to level 3. And when you go over to the firing range now, you can actually go, I'll put some game audio on so you've got some audio, but you can actually practice shooting at all the targets. And as you shoot at the targets further down, you can actually look at them on this screen here. So, for example, if I hit, actually, no, they're the human targets. This is the right one. Wait, maybe it's the further one down. Hang on. I've got to figure out how to turn these on the right ones. We want to turn off the poppers, replace the targets. Shit. All right, I'll figure it out. But eventually you can actually shoot at the targets and they'll be down there. Might even be the end ones. Oh yeah, there's a bullseye right there. So maybe I hit a bullseye on the last one. But anyway, the actual shooting range is really, really cool. You can actually turn them on, make them move around. So you can have moving targets. You can stop them. You can fold them up. You can't see them. You can fold the poppers and then you can just have these rear targets as well. And I'm guessing this is, yeah, so that's the left target, right target, etc. But it actually has a full like training mode on as well. Starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Obviously, you want to have a few mags for this, but then you could practice your actual point shooting, or you could practice actually, ADSing on targets and stuff. So really, really cool thing that they've added. You can actually test out different firearms, see how you find it and all that. Try out your scores and stuff. But yeah, I actually think this is a great little. Oh my god, aim test. A great addition to the game. Definitely overdue and needed, and I'm really happy it's there. There has been some changes to upgrades. For example, this has been added to the game. You can find them in labs and in Lighthouse and stuff. But there are items that have been added to upgrading the hideout. I've got the Bitcoin farm filled up with 10 graphics cards. I'll have it up to 25 tomorrow or whenever it's upgraded to the next one. But it's currently probably not the best thing in the game at the moment to get to more than 25 graphics cards just because of the price of Bitcoin farms. The one thing that I do actually really enjoy outside of the fact that, they've added the gym to the actual hideout is if you come in here, they've got plenty of room. Now, obviously, they're going to have some sort of other plans. but they've got plenty of room for other things to come along. So, you know, we've got the workout there, and then you can practice doing your test. So obviously my skill's not going up, but anyway, let's escape to get out of that one. And Bob's your uncle. That is the gym. So that's everything hideout related. I actually think that's all been really good, and it's cool to see. All right, next up, new tasks added to the game. Now, there's been a heap of new tasks added to the game, mostly focused around Streets of Tarkov, but also some of the other tasks have been like reworked or moved around. There's some that I haven't got up to yet. I'm trying my best not to spoil it for me. I usually try and rush through the game, or you know, I'm trying to keep up to date with the latest content and information, so I could share it with you guys. But I'm actually kind of enjoying this wipe, taking a bit of a different approach and just progressing through the game at my natural pace, which is pretty quick, but then also seeing stuff for the first time myself. So for example, there's new tasks added to the game. A lot of the new tasks that have been added to Streets, I think, have been pretty decent. They're not just simply like go and just kill 10 scavs and that's the end of it. One of them, for example, is you got to shoot a yellow flare up into the sky in the middle of a courtyard and kill scavs in that courtyard. Like it's just a little bit different to what we've been doing normally. And then also to use the new extract where you have to pop a green flare to actually use the extract. So cool to be able to actually, you know, see some different variations of tasks instead of the same thing every time. And then there's obviously the usual, you know, pick up X items and drop them off and stuff like that found in raids, like a sausage you need to find. Always like having new tasks added to the game, but the one thing that's kind of gotten to the point where it's a little bit overwhelming now is the fact that I counted it probably about 5 tasks ago, but I currently have 47 active tasks. Now, don't know if that's going to get any more or less or whatever, but that is a lot of tasks to have to try and keep track of. So, you know, and that's not including the dailies and weeklies and stuff. So 47 is a lot to have at the same time, but it is what it is. Now let's talk about the map Streets of Tarkov. I actually think the map's amazing. I did my first raid, or I did one of my first raids on Woods to get Jaeger unlocked. And then pretty much the next 80 raids completely, I spent on Streets. And I didn't just get in there and get out. I learned the extracts. I've learned going through all the buildings, where all the loot is. I've done a lot of exploring. I pretty much know this map completely now. I gave you guys a bit of a map tour. I'll have a link up there or wherever it goes to if you want to check out the basic map tour of where all the buildings are and what's around and all the extracts. But overall, this is, as a whole as a map, is actually really, really good. It's really immersive. There's some really cool stuff going on. There's like areas where there's like, you know, the Last Supper and everyone's like in body bags and stuff. It's like really cool how they've made the map. It's not like any of the maps we've seen so far. There's lots of just different assets added to the game to make it feel like a new map instead of it just being like a heap of, you know, the same kind of, you know, bodies on the ground or anything like that. It's all made to look a little bit more immersive, and it is. It definitely is. And I'd probably lean this into the content in general over the patch has felt like there's been a lot. It actually has felt like for the first patch in probably a couple of years, maybe even as long back as Reserve, we actually got a patch where it was like, wow, there's a lot of stuff in this actual patch. From different barter trade items to, you know, just how the quests have been changed around a little bit. They've moved some of the tasks around. So a perfect example is Chemical Part 1, where you got to get the item out of the train car on customs. It doesn't just spawn in the one spot. It spawns in one of like 4 locations in that train card. It's not too difficult to find, but it's not always the exact same spot. So it's not as tedious as just running up and grabbing it. Sometimes you got to look a little tiny bit, and that's kind of cool. It's nice to see a little bit of variation in that. Overall, the actual task structure as well has been moved around a lot. One of the big things that I was hoping for when they did it was they moved Grenadier earlier in the quest line. So now you're not getting Grenadier, you know, when you're at level 40. I actually got it around level 20. I've already got 4 of my kills, and that's just by playing the game normally. I haven't actually gone into factory and actively thrown impact nades to try and get my 12 kills straight away because I'm already at level 40 and I want to progress through the quest. I'm actually just playing the game normally and getting kills with grenades. Now, I'm sure there are plenty of other good things being added to this patch. I haven't gone to Lighthouse at all. I'm saving myself a little bit longer. I'm trying to not have any spoilers, and I'm building myself up to the point where I go to Lighthouse and then I go and, you know, explore the lighthouse and see the Lightkeeper and all that kind of stuff. So I'm sure there's plenty of videos out there of people doing all that kind of stuff, but it is cool to know that there is that kind of content in there, and the new Scav boss, and that's always well and good. That's probably the extent of the good from this patch, and I'll probably be able to do more in-depth stuff later on. I will be doing some sort of task guides, but it'll be very basically explained. And then my editor can just chuck it all in. So you've got mini maps and stuff. It won't be like fully in depth where it's like, here, this is a 6-minute raid of me doing the quest. It's just going to be, this is where you got to go and do this. So pretty much how my other task guides have been, but it'll be just a bit of a top up for you. Now, for the bad. Let's speak about one of the first things that I know that's pissed a lot of people off is the keys. So I'm probably included in this. I really dislike the idea. It kind of reminds me of the days of Diablo 2, where there was that Stone of Jordan. So the barter trade item in Diablo 2 was the Stone of Jordan. So if you ever wanted an item, it's like, oh, how many Sodges for that, you know, Am rune or whatever it was, or a Zod rune. And I'll give you 3 Sodges for it or whatever. Right now, that's a marked key. All right, it's usually something like a marked key or maybe another quest key if you want to get any sort of quest key. So the biggest grievance right now is if you want to get any sort of progression, you either A, need to get a group of friends together that have keys and or be a streamer. You can ask the community to open the door for you, which is what I do at the moment for some of the keys that I can't be bothered farming another marked key for to get. Or I don't even know if that room has the actual quest in it. So I'm trying to explore and find out. So, you know, if I go and spend half a day trying to farm one key to find out if the quest is in there or not, you know, what a waste of time, really. So anyway, it's really difficult to get certain keys, and I wish they would just piss off the entire taxes on keys. The way I see it is back in the day when you used to spend 60 million rubles for a red key card, it was a lot of money. You had to farm up for that 60 million and you bought a red key card. I can understand the issues to prevent cheaters from buying up 50 red key cards and selling them on websites. You know, it was kind of needed to put some taxes out there to slow that down and make it more difficult for people to just buy a red key card just willy-nilly however they wanted. But now to buy a red key card, you've got to do a barter trade for generally it's usually like a green, a violet, and a blue. Then on top of that, they've also removed the ability to drop a lot of the keys in the game anyway. So the whole RMT thing's been squashed, but they've still got this exuberant amount of taxes on a key. So if you just want to get a basic 114 key, which at the start of a wipe you need for a quest, and a lot of people are trying to get one, people are putting them up for marked room keys, and it's like, hang on a minute, this is just a key with a room with a safe, but I have to pay a marked room key for it? What the fuck's going on here? In all realisticness, it could be like 300k, 400k for that key, but that's a perfectly fine price to pay for it, you know. And then it's just a thing that's annoying me. And then now they've done that whole, you know, 101 use for an unknown key or a machinery key. Now I can understand it being okay for the fact that those two keys have actual fixed spawns that are 100%. On customs, there's near the Ruaf extract, there's the unknown key has 100% spawn chance on that body. So you could go pick one up if you lose it, or you got to the quest on, looted it and died on the way out. So you actually have an option to get it again at 100%. Same with the machinery keys. They're located in the 2-story dorms, in the 3-story dorms on the 2nd floor. You could go pick yourself up another machinery key. Those are all right examples of being, you know, there's at least a scapegoat for them. But the fact that these keys are becoming so tedious to get, just to get some sort of progression on a quest, like there was last wipe, there was people just practically begging out on Twitter to see if they can get into an SMP key or a KSM key on reserve to get some of their quests done, which the value of those rooms is shit. You literally just got to get in there for a quest, and it's not a good solution. It's not good game design in my opinion, and it's frustrating. It's tedious. And I can see trends happening across social media and Reddit about how people are just finding this game to become way too tedious and grindy, and it's removing from the whole you know, immersive shooter game that it currently is or was. Now that's probably one of the least bad things of what I'm about to talk about. Let's talk about the audio. Now, last wipe we had what was called Steam Audio, and BSG stated that they were going to remove Steam Audio and build it up again using a new system, and it's going to be better apparently, or whatever. What ended up happening was they gave us a pile of shit that was previously, and then they've given us you know, that giant turd from Jurassic Park, where he's like, that's a big pile of shit.
That is one big pile of shit.
That's what I feel like we have right now. It's honestly, I am sitting there completely and utterly baffled about, if anyone had played this game for 5 minutes, they would have gone, where the fuck is someone running right now? It's so bad. Like I'm trying to persist and find some sort of rhythm or pattern of trying to figure out where someone is, but I'll be in a building and I'll have no idea where someone is. Now, it might not be super like realistic to know, hey, there's someone above me on a floor just over there in that direction. But at the same time, having absolutely no idea is not even remotely good for game progression design and enjoyment at all. All I know now is I hear a noise and they could be anywhere. That is literally the only thing I go with. The assumption is there's a noise, there's somewhere. That's it. And I'll be covering a doorway and sometimes I'll come out a different doorway or from a different angle. It is horrible. The audio is going to take ages to get used to.
Shit.
The issue with last wipe sound was nothing to do with Steam audio. I'm going to be very clear right now. If anyone had told you it was Steam audio, it wasn't. What happened was, and I'll sit down, get ready for a story. What happened was before about interchange, the game was actually pretty good with its sound. You would be running along and you'd hear a noise and be like, oh, it's through that wall in that direction up there. What happened was interchange came out and some people were running around on the ground floor. Everyone was, right? Okay. Everyone was running around the ground floor and then there'd be someone in the basement underneath. And they're like, hang on a minute. There's like a meter of concrete underneath me. Why can I hear that person under there? So what BSG did is they put in these occlusion zones. And what it meant was if they were on a different plane to you in certain areas, you wouldn't be able to hear them below or above you. Now, on something like interchange, that's perfectly acceptable. If someone's running around the basement and you're on the floor above, you shouldn't be able to hear them. But what happened was they were putting these on staircases and you would literally be standing on the second floor or third floor of the factory office area on top of the staircase. Someone would be underneath you and you wouldn't hear them at all, even if they were running around or whatever. And as soon as they came up into line of sight, then the audio would click in. So what would happen is someone would come up, they'd be aiming their gun as they came up a staircase, and the second they saw you, you would be able to hear them. And then when they saw you at that same second, they'd be like, shit, shoot. And they would shoot you, and then instantly you would scream, where the fuck was the audio? And you'd be like, what the hell just happened? That didn't even hear him there. And this was the biggest issue. It wasn't to do with Steam audio. It was actually to do with how these occlusion zones were the different levels of sound. And you could see this. I tested it out heaps on factory. This is when it first came out. You'd be standing on a pillar on the rafters, and then you'd have someone walk in and out of line of sight from behind on the ground level. And when they were in line of sight, you could hear them. When they went behind line of sight, you could not hear them at all. And it was confusing. They made changes to make it so it wasn't that bad, but overall, that was the major issue. If I could find some footage of me fighting in factory back in 2018, you would actually see, like, I could be standing up in the offices of factory and you could hear someone running around near the forklift, and I could instantly go, hey, they're over near the forklift. Now, obviously that's too far to be able to hear someone realistically and blah, 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 blah. But at least you knew the direction they were and that was where the sound was coming from. Now it is horrible. Like, it is almost unplayable. I haven't turned off binaural audio. People said it's better, but I'm trying to persist just to like give it a proper go, but I'm literally this far away from just turning it off. I asked my chat today, and majority of them have said they turned it off. Now, I'm not going to talk about audio anymore. There was a bit of a rant there, but I am going to talk about Scavs. Now, I have died. I'm very confident I have died more to Scavs than players this wipe. Generally, that's not normally the case. They have 100% dialed it up. I don't care what Nikita says or anyone. They are off tap right now. Now, there's different ways you can see a Scav being. And probably people won't agree with me on this one. But the way I see a Scav being in the game is we've got Scavs, Raiders, Scav bosses, goons. I don't know. There's probably someone else. Rogues, right? And cultists. Right, and they're kind of like on a scale of like most difficult to least difficult, right? You'd probably put the Scav bosses at the most difficult, goons up there as well, and then, you know, raiders and stuff like that, and rogues, you know, less threatening, but still quite difficult. And Scavs are down the bottom. The way I see Scavs should be implemented in the game is they should be, you shouldn't just, you know, be flamboyant with them and just not care about them being there. but they should be enough to be like, hey, I don't want to get my armor damaged. I don't want to take any damage from these, but they're a bit of a threat. But the most important thing that these scavs should do is give away your position. So when you're running around and you see a scav and they're shooting at you, everyone else on the map is not going, hey, there's a player over there fighting a scav. And that is one of the major things that scavs should be doing in the game, giving away players' position so then there's more PvP incentive for people coming across. Right now, scavs are so dialed up that they will head eyes or jaw you or just get you through the helmet anyway, that it is insane. I think each day I've died between 4 and 6 times to a head eyes within 10 to 15 seconds of seeing a scav. Probably less, actually. I reiterate that. Probably 3 to 7 seconds. I literally see a scav, hear the noise, and my now tactic is just to turn my back and run. I don't even fight them. Unless I can just, I'm behind cover and I get a quick peek to shoot with a sight, I don't even fight scavs anymore. They're just too threatening. But if I look at a scav, go to ADS, sometimes before I can even finish lining up my ADS, and I'm not a horrible player, I'm already dead. It is insane how quickly they'll do a burst and destroy your armor as well. They are so dialed up, they're shooting through bushes, through trees, and I ran into Rashala and his minions shot me through completely covered up curtains. Like through a window of dorms, bam, just instantly killed me through the window. Couldn't even see them because the curtains were closed. It's shit. It's not enjoyable. I know Tarkov's not meant to be enjoyable, but like there's a line and we've crossed it. This has been the most frustrating wipe ever. The content's super exciting and I'm super excited to play it, but the design of a scav should not be based around being so difficult that you're absolutely terrified to even look at them. And on top of that, I think it's lazy game design to make AI harder based off just making a more aim body. In my opinion, an AI, particularly a scav, should only become harder by making it so, hey, a scav shoots and then potentially another scav goes, hey, there's a scav in trouble over there. I might help out. And that scav, another scav might run across and then, or maybe a couple of other scavs will spawn in the area like, hey, there's more threats in this area, but then more scavs will start congregating in the one area, or they flank. They play more intelligently. They go behind cover and lean out to shoot at you instead of just instantly turning, going, you know, Zemnor, and then like instantly dead. It's just fucked. Honestly, it's fucked. There's so many exciting things about this game, but and this wipe, but the scavs honestly are just, they're off tap. And you can call me shit. I don't really care. If you haven't experienced what I've experienced, you've been a lucky one. Now, lastly, this is going to be like everyone's grievance as well, is that unfortunately, and I knew this was probably going to happen, it happens every time there's a new map, is the server and the rubber banding, particularly on the streets map, but it's also quite bad over all maps when it comes to a memory leak. So I'll start with the rubber banding. Streets of Tarkov, for some reason, every now and then just goes into this weird rubber banding thing. You'll go like 5 paces forward and then teleport back. And it happens over and over and over again. And it's really frustrating. You just have to kind of sit there and just wait it out. Sometimes it takes 5 seconds. Sometimes it takes a minute. But the rubber banding is really brutal. And then apparently it's linked to the new audio system. If you turn binaural audio off, it doesn't happen. But there is 100% of memory leak. So I've got a really good computer. I start on about 120 FPS on streets. The second raid will be down to 100. The third raid I'll be down to 70. And by the fourth raid, I'm down to 40 to 50 FPS. And it's actually on other maps too now. So I haven't been playing a lot of other maps. So I'm guessing the memory leak is on all the maps. But yeah, it's really brutal. I think turning binaural audio off helps. And I'm going to do that tomorrow, but I haven't fully tested that one out. But overall, that if you are having massive FPS drops to the point where it's unplayable, try restarting your game. We used to, back in 2018 and that, we used to restart our game every like hour or two anyway, because there used to be a lot of FPS issues back then. And similar to the memory leaks now. So yeah, try restarting your game. It is really unfortunate because Streets is really fun and exciting, and you'll load into the raid and all of a sudden you're down to 50 FPS and it's like, well, can't do that now, so I've got to restart my game. So you hold F4 and then you got to load the game back up, and then it's already 5-6 minutes have passed. This ruins the fun. This ruins the fun. Anyway, probably going to cause some stir with this video and probably piss some people off, or people will be like, oh, you're just a whiny little bitch, Pestily, or whatever. But I don't know. I've had a lot of fun this wipe. Don't get me wrong. I've had a lot of fun. The new map's exciting, but the audio stuff is just shit. The scavs are just shit. And obviously we always want better servers and that, but it's kind of it'd be very frustrating to have a middle to low end PC right now trying to play this game. And I feel sorry for you guys. And I wish nothing but the best, because seriously, if I'm struggling to get 50 FPS after about 4 raids, I'm imagining you have to restart every second raid or even every raid. And that would just be annoying to want to play this game that, you know, we're obviously also passionate about. And hopefully in my voice, you can hear that I'm pretty passionate about this stuff. Anyway, that is it for this video. Oh my God, I've been talking for half an hour. Hopefully I haven't talked your ears off, but I think this video needed to be made and I needed to talk about it. Hopefully you guys like the stuff I've said, or at least agree with it, or learn something and understand stuff better. If you are getting frustrated with this game, take some time off. I finished my stream a little bit earlier today than I wanted to because I was just a little bit over it. So if you're getting frustrated, take some time off. If you don't like this wipe, take a wipe off. I tell that people all the time. You don't have to force yourself to play this game. Just playing what you enjoy. So I'll leave this one here. If you like this video, like and comment for the YouTube algorithm. Let me know your thoughts on the wipe and stuff. I'm probably not going to read the comments because it will probably either get me frustrated and people are going to tell me that, you know, I'm all wrong and stuff. So I'll be honest, I'm not going to read the comments of this video because it's probably going to be pretty feisty down there. But take care of each other and be nice to each other, all right? And lastly, say hi to your mum for me.